In this video, I want to go over a plugin that we usually don't pay much attention to, but it's really important for the image workflow in Neovim. When someone talks about viewing images in Neovim, you may think, yeah, it's something cool, but it's actually not something necessary. It's something optional that you can live without. In this video, I just quickly want to show you that that's not the case, that images in Neovim do have a use case, or at least a few use cases. I'm also going to show you a few key maps that I have created that improve your image workflow. When we think about images in Neovim, we immediately think about the image.nvim plugin. And yeah, that's a really great plugin. It's the one that allows you to view images. But what about pasting images? There's a plugin for this, and that's what I want to go over in this video. This is the plugin img-clip.nvim. Notice that it has 555 stars. If you like this repo, make sure to star it. So what is this plugin for? Let me jump to my blog post TMOC session. I'm gonna press Hyper-TL. That is automatically going to take me there. You're gonna notice that I have an article here. So if I come here into this section, demo images, you're gonna notice that I have several different images here. Notice where these images are stored. There are two directories above in the assets directory. Notice the format in which these images are stored, AVIF. And when I'm working on a blog post, I need a quick way to get an image into the assets directory. That's where I keep them all. So let's say that, for example, let me go back to my browser here. Let me go to the other tab that I have here. And I'm going to right click on the image that you see on the screen. What if I want to add this to my blog post without much hassle? Just going to right click on it. Just going to click here, copy image. That image is already part of my clipboard. If I switch back to Ghosty right now, and let's say that I want to add the image above, I'm just going to go to lines above. I'm going to press a key map that I have, which is Alt-1. You're going to notice that something happens in the background. It's going to ask me, is this a thumbnail image? I'm just going to hit here, no. Notice that another pop-up shows up. It asks me to enter the image name, no spaces, and it's going to add a prefix automatically. And that is today's date. I'm just going to type here Voyager, just as an example, and I'm just going to hit enter. You're going to notice that the image was pasted there immediately. My cursor was placed in this position, and I can type some description for this image. Voyager keyboard, for example, right? Now, if I scroll up a little bit, I'm placing myself on the image directly. I can view the image there. What if I want to see this image like in my blog post? Let me open here a bookmark, this chirpy bookmark. Just going to open that up real quick. Let me go to the first result. Let me scroll down here a little bit. And we're going to notice that the image is there. So notice how simple it was to get the image from the browser into the assets directory. I recently did a review on this keyboard, the Glove 80, which is the one that you see on the screen, the small screen on the right-hand side. Here's the blog post. I created a video for this as well. It's an in-depth review. The video is shown here, 41 minutes long. I include typing tests, all the things that I like, that I don't like about it too much. So go and check it out if you want to learn more. Let me show you something else real cool. Let me switch back to the terminal. On the line below here, I'm going to press the same key map again, Alt-1. You're going to notice that no image in clipboard. Select search to continue. Just going to hit enter here to search. Notice where I'm placed, my cursor. So I'm just going to type something here. For example, Apple, right? Notice that I get this completion automatically. If I type something else, let me delete this. Notice that I have all the different images listed here. You can scroll down here, select one of the images if I want to, or basically just search if that's easier. So let's search for Apple again. I'm going to hit Ctrl-Y to accept that. Notice that that image was pasted automatically. And where did I search that image for? In the assets directory. So that means that I can use the same images in multiple blog post pages. Then what I can do is just jump here to this text image section, and I can just change this word if I want to. Let's say that I want to add a different description. I'm just going to type here Apple Watch, for example, and that's it. If I jump back to my blog post right now, let's go back here. And if I just refresh this page, if I scroll down here a little bit, so notice how easy I can add images that I already have in my assets directory or from the web. If you have a blog post, you're going to understand how valuable this is. I'm going to show you the key map in a minute. Also, if you want to learn how with Blink, I was able to find the images here, just searching for stuff in this directory. I have a video for that as well. Let's say that I type something else. For example, if I type here just Magic keyboard, I can insert that image real quick. To learn more about Blink, I have two videos about it. So if you search here, blink.cmp, you're going to notice that this is the first video that I released 2 weeks ago. This is the updated version. So I would highly recommend you to go and check this out. You want to understand how Blink works, how to set it up, what it is, and all that. So I'm just going to get rid of this image here because I don't need it. I just deleted it. When you're manipulating images in your blog post, you're going to come across images that you want to rename. So what do? You go to the file, rename it there. That's not needed anymore because I created a key map for that as well. So let's say that, for example, we have this image in 2 different sections. I'm just going to grab the whole thing. I'm going to paste it down here. It auto-saved because I do use auto-save. Notice that I have the same image here and also the same image here. So what if I want to rename this? I'm just going to type here, letter I, capital R. You're going to notice that a pop-up shows up at the top asking me to enter the new name. I'm just going to type here Voyager new, for example. Gonna hit enter here, and it will rename the image everywhere in the document, but it's also going to change the name of the image itself. You can see that here, Voyager new. If I scroll up here a little bit more, you're gonna notice that this was renamed as well. You may be wondering, but having images in your blog post stored directly in there, that's gonna take up a lot of space. This is just a small blog post. I don't really care about space too much, but if you're concerned about that, let me open Finder real quick. Just gonna type here, letter IF, that is gonna bring up Finder. Notice the size of this image, 65 kilobytes. If I scroll up, notice this one is 86 to 77. This one is a little bit bigger, but you can still compress them way more than I have compressed them. But notice how small they are. This is only 27 kilobytes. If we keep scrolling up, you're gonna see the rest of them. Pretty small images, all of them actually. And this is done with the same plugin, image-clip. What if I want to delete an image, right? Let's say that we have this Voyager new image in here. And let's go back to Ghosty here. And I'm just going to type another key map that I have, letter ID. It's going to ask me, do I want to delete the file? If I hit yes here, it failed. So it's going to ask me if I want to delete it with the rm command. Just going to type yes here, and it deleted it. Now I can get rid of this section here. And I can also get rid of this because if you notice, if I hover over this, I don't have an image there anymore. So I just get rid of that. If I switch back to Finder, you're going to notice that the image is gone there. So I'm manipulating images from Neovim. I'm adding, removing, renaming images from here without too much hassle. If I open mini.files, this is the blog post. This is the article that we're looking at right now. If I go back, you're going to notice that this is the posts subdirectory. This is the main directory. And here in the main directory, we have assets. And here we have img. And here we have images. And this is where it's storing the images. Why? Because I set it up that way. But you can modify that. I'm going to show you. What's another use case for this? Let me switch to my other repo. I'm going to type here hypertj. That is going to bring me to my .files. And let me open here one of the readme files. This one in the Neovim directory. Let me open it real quick. And notice here under install instructions. Notice that I have here this section install prerequisites. Just gonna unfold this section. Let's scroll down a little bit more here. And notice this. I'm referencing an image here in the assets directory as well. If I go to this file in GitHub, I have a key map for that. I'm just gonna type letter F capital G. That is going to bring it up in GitHub. And you're going to notice that the image is going to show up here. Let me scroll down a little bit. And you're going to notice that the image is here. View paste images in Neovim. Let's see if this is the one. Yep, this is the image. The only reason that I added it like this as an HTML image is so that it's clickable. But you can add it as a regular markdown image. Let's give it a try and let's see if it works. I'm going to go to the line here below. And I'm going to bring up my clipboard. Let's see where the image that we saved is. Here's the image that we downloaded before. I'm just going to copy it to my clipboard. And here, I'm just going to type Alt-1. Is this a thumbnail image? It's not. So I'm just type there, no. Enter image name. I'm just going to type here Voyager, and I'm just going to hit enter. Let's see what happens. The image was pasted there. This is not my blog post, so I don't need the extra stuff. I don't need this prettier ignore line here. You can leave it there. It doesn't hurt anything. And I also don't need the section here at the end. So I'm just going to delete this part as well. I'm going to delete this line. It's not necessary. And I'm just going to commit this real quick. I'm just going to include this. And I'm also going to include this in the README. Those are the only 2 changes related to this. I'm just going to commit this. I'm just going to type a message here. Neovim readme added Voyager image. Just gonna commit this and I'm gonna push this. Okay, so that was sent. Just gonna exit here of LazyGit. And now let's go back to my browser. I'm just gonna refresh the page here. Let's scroll down a little bit. And you're gonna notice that the image is there. So this is not strictly necessary for a blog post. You can also use this in your GitHub README files. Notice that that's an item that I had here in the list of items that I wanted to have completed. So I'm just going to mark it as done. We already saw this as well, how to copy to the assets directory. So I'm just going to mark this as done. We already looked at this as well, how we did that with Blink. Just going to mark this as done. Let me just quickly jump back to Ghosty. And let me switch to the other session that I was on before. To be able to use Blink and the LSP to find the images, notice how I added them. Let me add it again real quick here. I'm just going to copy this image and I'm just going to type here letter 1 or alt 1. Is it a thumbnail? No. Voyager, hit enter, and it pasted the image. I'm just going to type here Voyager. So for Blink to find it, notice that I'm specifying here this dot and then the /. So that way Blink kicks in and I can search for different images. So that's a trick that you need to keep in mind if you want to have this as well. Let me just undo this, type U to undo it, letter ID to delete the image, yes, yes, and just delete these 2 lines. I already showed you as well how to search with Alt 1, so we covered that already. The GitHub repo, why is there an A there? I don't know. Just gonna type here GX. It's gonna take me again to the GitHub repo. You already have it. I'm gonna leave it in the video description. If you like it, make sure to start it because I think it's a great plugin. I'm just going to mark this task as done as well. If you want to learn how I manage the tasks on this little window on the right hand side, that is Neovim running inside Katie. I have a video in which I explain everything in detail. It's this one here, so go and check it out. You're going to notice here that it says drag from browser. This doesn't work all the time for me. I tested it. Let me show you real quick where it works. In this page, for example, let me jump to the right hand side. I'm going to scroll down here. In a new line, and I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to delete the whole thing. I'm in a new line here. I'm going to grab my mouse right now, and I'm just going to drag this file from here, drag it from here to here, and it didn't paste the image. I'm not sure why it pastes the image sometimes. Sometimes it does not. Let me give it another try. Let's see what happens. I'm dragging it right now. I pasted it in there. It didn't work. Not sure why. I don't use it anyway. I tried it earlier today. It worked for some images. If I switch back here to Finder, let me try to drag one of these here. I'm not even sure if this is gonna work or not, but let's give it a try. Dragged it, and nope, it didn't drag it correctly. Maybe because I was in insert mode and there's some config that you need to modify when you're in insert mode. I'm in normal mode right now. Let's give it a try in normal mode. Okay, so it worked in normal mode. Notice that I was able to drag the image and it added it correctly. I'm just going to delete this because that's something that I add and I have the image there. Let me try to drag it here in normal mode from Finder. Let's give it a try. I'm in Finder here. Just going to grab this image, drag it, and release it here. And no, that didn't work. I think it's nice, but I don't use it at all. I prefer to use the keymaps that I showed you some time ago. But in case that you want to enable that, if we go to the repo here, let's scroll down a little bit. If we go to the instructions, let me find that. Here it is, drag and drop. If you want to do it in insert mode, you need to set that option, drag and drop insert mode to true. And below you can see the terminals that are supported. I don't see Ghosty there. I haven't tried it in Ghosty. This is something that I don't use. But in case that you plan on using it, just go and check this section of the documentation. All right, so I'm just going to mark these 2 tasks as done, this one and this one. If you want to install this plugin, what do you have to do? I have a video that I released 7 months ago, view and paste images in Neovim. I cover both of the plugins in this video, image.nvim and image-clip.nvim. This video also comes with a blog post. If I come here to Kitty and I'm just going to type GX here, it's going to bring me to the blog post in that specific section. Notice at the top, this is the view and paste images in Neovim article. Here are the instructions for image-clip. You need to install ImageMagick, which we do in the video that I just mentioned, PNG paste, and then install the plugin itself. ImageMagick is the tool that compresses the images. Notice here in this section, it gets invoked when you use the process command. So any image that I paste into Neovim is automatically converted to the AVIF format. The quality is great and the size is really small. That's what she said. So go and check the other video that I mentioned. All of this is covered there. Let me show you the assets key map that I just showed you because that's not part of that other video. That is something new that I implemented. So if I go back to my .files, let me go here to the terminal. Hyper-TJ is going to take me to my .files. And I'm just going to open that file. I'm just going to search for image-clip. Here is the file. And I'm just going to open GitHub from here. I'm just going to type leader F capital G. That brings up my .files latest in that specific file. So this is where you're going to find the key maps in my .files latest. If you liked this repo, just make sure that you star it. Notice that we are at around 330 stars at the moment. I have a lot of information in my .files. All of my macOS config is there, my Neovim configuration is there. So if you find useful stuff there, just make sure to give it a star. If we jump back to Ghosty, you're going to notice on the top right corner that here is the path where this file lives in the .files, in the Neovim Lua plugins directory. And here is the name of the file, image-clip.lua. This is the file that you have to go and search there. This is the configuration for the plugin itself. I have some options here. This is my entire config, so you can just copy and paste it if you want. Now let me show you the key maps real quick before I let you go. I'm just going to jump here to the buffers that I have open. Here's keymaps.lua, and I'm just going to search for m-1. This is the key map. Notice that this key map calls this function process image. So if you want to get this key map, you need to grab from here, then scroll up and keep going up until this assets directory section. So from here all the way down. Notice that I left some variables, well, one variable that you can modify here. So if you don't want the images to be stored in image-images, you can change this. It's still going to store it in the assets directory in this subdirectory. So you can modify that if you want, change it to something else. So again, remember, you need to start here from the assets directory section and then scroll down all the way until you find the key map, which is here. To rename images, I created another one. What was that? That is leader, I think, leader IR. Oh, it's down here. It's right below. Rename the image under cursor. So if you don't want to grab this, just make sure that you select from here. You go down all the way to here. So that is the one that I use for renaming the images. It's a few lines. So it's all there in my .files. If you want to search for the one to delete images, the same thing. I think that is leader ID. This is the one here. I'm not sure if it's above or below, but you will be able to find it as well in my .files. So I just wanted to show you about this plugin then, image-clip. It's a great plugin. It's quite useful, to be honest, and it doesn't have the attention that it deserves. Go and check it out, install it. Let me know how it goes in the comments. I hope you find this video useful. That's it for today. I'll see you in the next video.